Takes a minute to share everything. Happy Sabbath, everybody. Uh, Rosie and Trust Yah. Happy Sabbath. So, we're going to continue our Isaiah study. We ended on Isaiah chapter 52 last week. If you're not keeping the Sabbath, you don't know what you're missing. It's the most wonderful day of the week. You know how people have the when Christmas is over, they miss Christmas, and because I used to celebrate Christmas, but not anymore. But I get that every single week when the Sabbath's over. I'm like, man, that was the best day of the week. Why is it over? I gotta wait another 6 days to get to Sabbath again. So, not that it's Christmas. Don't misunderstand me. So, yep. All right, so I've got the Dead Sea Scrolls translation pulled up, Isaiah 53. The Dead Sea Scrolls are the most reliable manuscripts that we have. So that's why I use these more often than not. The Septuagint, it's got a lot of readings that are attested in the Dead Sea Scrolls, so I use it. But it is a translation, so it has translation stuff in it. Like where they explain stuff to people and put it in the text. So Thompson Septuagint, King James Version, Isaiah 53. Blue Letter Bible for some word searches if we need to, and Interlinear Bible for word searches. The Text Critical New Testament, and some New Testament manuscripts, ancient manuscripts that correct the text, kind of like the Dead Sea Scrolls. Same person did them. So you can see where this would be in a modern translation, this would be in the manuscript. See? So the New Testament's been, if you look at preserved for 2,000 years, it was preserved pretty good by man. So, same thing with the Old Testament. For 2,000 years, pretty good. But now we have the 2,000-year-old manuscripts, and we can see what it originally said. Praise Yahuwah for delivering us from the bondage of worldly holidays. Just that alone is a huge lifted burden. Yes, praise Yah. His ways are, what do you say? Before we start. What the Messiah, Yahusha, say, commonly referred to as Jesus. He said, Matthew 11:30, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So he takes that burden off. We don't have to do stress about Christmas and all that other garbage. And the Sabbath is easy. You rest, study scripture, spend time with your family, don't work. It's easy and light. 100% correct, Rosie. Isaiah 53. Okay, so this is from scroll 1Q, Isaiah A. So this was found in Cave 1, what they call Qumran. It's not Qumran, it would be Bethabara. The God Culture does a lot of good research on that, if you want to check them out. Who has believed our message? To whom has the arm of Yahuwah been revealed? For he grew up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He has no good looks or majesty. When we see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, and a man of suffering, and acquainted with disease. He was despised as one from whom men hide their face, and we didn't respect him. So who's this talking about? The arm of Yahuwah, who sits at his right side, his son. Who does his work for? Who does he send to? Just like he sends the angels for men and women, he sends the Messiah. So his arm. What do you do with your arm? Plant root algorithm. It is. Let's see. I'm pretty sure they quote that in the New Testament. Acquainted with disease. I should have pulled that up beforehand. Luke 22. Yeah. I was pretty sure it was all over the New Testament. John 12, Romans 10, Matthew 8. So let's just look at John 12 right quick. Matter of fact, I'm going to go over here. John 12. Yeah, that doesn't reference that part. But yeah, we know this is talking about the Messiah. Wasn't respected. Wasn't beautiful by human standards. Surely he has borne our sickness and carried our suffering, yet we considered him plagued, struck by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. So here's got pierced. He was pierced for our transgressions. Pierced. John 19:37. And again, another scripture saith, they shall look on him whom they pierced. So, verse 34, but one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought our peace was on him. That reminds me of Hebrews. First John, for he is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also for the sins of the whole world. There we go. Hebrews 10:12. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of God. And from my understanding in Hebrew, the hand would be all the way up here. Part of what we consider the arm, all the way to the elbow. So his arm. And by his wounds we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. Israel. Everyone has turned to his own way, and Yahuwah has laid on him the iniquity of us all, the lawlessness. He was oppressed, yet when he was afflicted, he didn't open his mouth. So here we have an account. If I can find it. John 19:9, and went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Yahusha, whence art thou? But Yahusha gave him no answer. As a lamb that is led to slaughter, as a sheep that is before its shears is silent, so he didn't open his mouth. He was taken away by oppression and judgment. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off out of the land of the living, and stricken for the disobedience of my people. Who's his people? Israel. For disobedience. What was he stricken for? The disobedience of Israel. They made his grave with the wicked and with the rich people in his death. Although he had done no violence, nor was deceit in his mouth, he kept the law perfectly, no deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him. He caused him to suffer. When you make his soul an offering for sin, see, his soul was an offering for sin. He will see his offspring. He will prolong his days, and Yahuwah's pleasure will prosper in his hand. So his soul was an offering for sin. He had to die. He'll prolong his days. He was resurrected. After the suffering of his soul, he will see the light and be satisfied. My righteous servant will justify many by the knowledge of himself, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore I will give him a portion with the great, and he will divide the plunder with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death and was counted with the transgressors. That's on the thieves on the cross. He was crucified with them. Yet he bore the sins of many and made intercession for the transgressors. So he bore the sins, he died, resurrected, and made intercession for the transgressors. And there's probably a lot of other parallels too I'm missing, but Hebrews 7:25, you can leave them in the comments if you think of some more connecting verses. I'm not God, so I don't know everything. Hebrews 7:25, wherefore he is able to save them that to the uttermost that come unto God by him, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. See, to save them. Justify many. He will justify many, save them, seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them. Same thing here. To make intercession. So, you'll see non-believers picking at the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's not what it says. Well, yeah, we're believers. We know what it says. 12. It 100% backs up what they're talking about in the New Testament and what happened to the Messiah. Wording is the same in the scroll and the LXX, as well as the translation of the World English Bible, although the Masoretic text omits the light. In the suffering of his soul, he will see the light and be satisfied. So the Masoretic text omits the light. He will see the light. Why did they take that out? Or why was it missed? Why was it dropped out? In thy light shall we see light. Psalms. While you have light, believe in the light that you may be children of light. If you walk in the light, the law is light. Isaiah 8:20. The light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Yahushua Messiah. What the knowledge? We see that up here. The knowledge. Where's it at? Maybe it's later. I know it's in there. Let's see. So okay. He will see the light and be satisfied. The law After the suffering of his soul, he'll see the light. Well, he said the law before. The word light present in the World English Bible is in the scroll and LXX, but not in the Masoretic text. That's interesting. I wonder why not. Yeah, he's the light. The law is light. To obey the Torah, to obey him. Yep, 100%, Rosie. But why does it say he will see the light? After the suffering of his soul, he will see the light. Yep. Bear much fruit. Law keeping. Psalms 1. It's interesting. So Isaiah 53. Yahuwah also is pleased to take away from the travail of his soul to show him light and to form him with understanding. To justify the just one who serves many well. And he shall bear their sins. Very interesting. All right. So Isaiah 54, sing barren, you who didn't give birth. Break out into singing and cry aloud, you who didn't travail with child. We see that all through the scriptures that talks about Jerusalem in travail as a woman in travail. So she was barren because of Israel. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, says Yahuwah. So if we're his children and we're not fatherless, that means we're obedient. The children of the desolate Jerusalem. So Jerusalem's a desolation now. The kingdom hasn't come back. New Jerusalem hasn't come back. So there's more of the children of the desolate than the children of the married. So Jerusalem before was married, but it didn't bear children. All their deeds were abominable. That's why he kicked them out. That's interesting. Enlarge the place of your tent. I think it's in Lamentations too. Let me look right quick. Lamentations. Jerusalem. If I can type today. And so we read that last time. Break forth into joy, sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem. For Yahuwah comforted his people, he hath redeemed Jerusalem. They knew he was going to come to do that. Yeah, Luke 13:34. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killest the prophets and stonest them that are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and you would not. See, gathered thy children together is what he refers to, his people. But he uses the city as the mother in the feminine. If you look at like second Esdras also, and he quotes second Esdras. Come on, not first Esdras. Okay, here we go. Let's second Esdras. And the KJV Apocrypha is not the best translation to use, by the way. Chapter 2. The mother that bare them saith unto them, Go your way, my you children, for I am widow and forsaken. See, widow, Jerusalem. Be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children. Where's it at? Gathers. Modify Apocrypha. There we go. 2nd Ezra 1:30. I gathered you together as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, but now what shall I do unto you? I will cast you out from my face. It is a few verses earlier, I think. So 1:30. Sorry for all the scrolling. Well, sure, it's in there. So 1:30 is the... Yeah, that's part of it. So enlarge the place of your tent. Let them stretch out the curtains of your habitations, and don't spare. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. For you will spread out on the right hand and on the left, and your offspring will possess the nations. That hasn't happened yet. The offspring of Jerusalem, which is still his people, which is still Israel, and settle in desolate cities. Don't be afraid, for you will not be ashamed. Don't be confounded, for you will not be disappointed. And for the cities to be desolate, they have to be wiped out. There's people in them now, but they're going to be wiped out. Tribulation. Don't be afraid, for you will not be ashamed. Don't be confounded, for you will not be disappointed. For you will forget the shame of your youth and the reproach of your widowhood, and you shall remember no more. For your Maker is your husband. Yahuwah of armies is his name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. He will be called the God of the whole earth. He will be, right? Is he God of the whole earth right now? No. There's plenty of different gods they go by. They go Buddha and Muhammad and all the rest of them. See. Yep, Sarah was barren for a long time. Yep. Good catch. Trust y'all. For Yahuwah has called you as wife forsaken and grieved in spirit, even a wife of youth when she is cast off, says Yahuwah Elohim. Taken out. Had his name there. For a small moment I have forsaken you, but I will gather you with great mercies. So he will gather you with great mercies. Does he promise and not fulfill? Or does he keep his word? Go back to Isaiah 11, one place. It will happen that day that the nations will seek the root of Jesse, who stands as a banner for the peoples, and his resting place will be glorious. It will happen that day that Yahuwah will, or the Master will set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant that is left of his people from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. He will set up a banner for the nations. He will assemble the outcast of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Yehudah, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, from the corners of the earth. So it don't say four. The envy also of Ephraim will depart, and those who persecute Judah will be cut off. Ephraim won't envy Yehudah, and Yehudah won't persecute Ephraim. They will fly down on the shoulders of the Philistines on the west. Together they will plunder the children of the east. They will extend their power over Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon will obey them. Yahuwah will utterly destroy. So there will be, I'll just finish reading it. Yahuwah will utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his scorching wind he will wave his hands over the river and will split it into 7 streams. So he will wave his hands over the river and cause men to march over in sandals. There will be a highway for the remnant that is left of his people from Assyria, the north, like there was for Israel in the day that he came out of the land of Egypt. Did that happen again? No. See, the first Exodus, second Exodus, like as a comparison to the first Exodus, like there was for Israel. That's what like means, comparison, for people that don't know. I know y'all in the chat, you probably know. So, most people don't know English very well, much less another language. So, Jeremiah. But that don't mean they're not better at me than at other things, because a lot of people are better at social skills and stuff than I am. I'm not very good that way. But words and stuff, and we've all got our strengths. Jeremiah 16 is missing, and 23. Let's go to Septuagint here. If you use the Brenton Septuagint, make sure that you look at in the Septuagint the chapter verses of the Hebrew, Vulgate, English, Masoretic translations don't match what's in the Septuagint. Although the Septuagint has been, like my Thompson 1960 Septuagint says, it's been edited by rabbinic, modern day Pharisees. But still, the chapter and verses are different. So the Septuagint has been edited. They got their hands on that too. So 20. So they should be there in the same place. So we'll go to Jeremiah 16. Second Exodus still. There's so many scriptures about second Exodus. So Jeremiah 16. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, when they shall no more say, Yahuwah lives, that brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. First Exodus. They're not going to say it anymore. Are they saying it now? Yes. But Yahuwah lives, who brought up the house of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the countries whither they were thrust out, and I will restore them to their own land, which I gave to their fathers. Look in history. Has this happened yet? No. They say the modern day Israel they came and repopulated the land, but all the places they're supposed to come from in the scriptures, they didn't come from. So it doesn't fulfill it. If they didn't come from every single place that it said in the scriptures, from all the corners of the earth, from Assyria, from Egypt, did all of them come from there? No. From land of the north. That the enemy tried to make it look like they did. So, turn that off. And then the Gentiles will come from the end of the earth and shall say, how vain were the idols which our fathers procured to themselves, and there is no help in them. Did the Gentiles do this when Israel came back? No, they didn't, because that's not the regathering. Most of y'all probably already know that. If you've been with me. So I harp on it all the time. So here's Jeremiah 23. So behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, when I will raise up to David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and understand, and shall execute judgment and righteousness on the earth. In his days both Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell securely, and this is his name, which Yahuwah shall call him, Yozadek among the prophets. I mean, go back and read all of it because there's tons of details in there. Where's it at? So here at the end here, 40a. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, when they shall no more say, Yahuwah lives, who brought the house of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So they're not going to talk about the first Exodus anymore. But Yahuwah lives, who has gathered the whole seed of Israel from the north land and from all the countries whither he had driven them out, and has restored them into their own land. When New Jerusalem comes down, you will see Israel restored like you have never seen before. Revelation 14. So Revelation chapter 14. I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion. Why does he stand on Mount Zion? Because he has returned Jerusalem, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. So he'll stand on Mount Zion, and with him is the 144,000, his army. Just like the first Exodus, Israel was numbered. Second Exodus, they got 144,000 of them ready to whip tail for, where's it at? Sealed. So the you church people you can argue with the Old Testament all day long, but this is Revelation. And this is telling us that the children of Israel still play a part. Revelation 7:4, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Who's sealed? The children of Israel. That's what the part of the promise. They talk about the Gentiles replacing Israel, but they don't realize Israel was scattered into the Gentiles. So Israel's seed, Abraham's seed, is all in the Gentiles. They procreated with Gentiles. So you might think you're a Gentile, and you could be a descendant of Abraham 50 generations back. So of the tribe of Judah, so there's the tribe of Judah, there's Reuben, there's Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar. Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, Benjamin. So, and here, and then you see, after this, and salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. When he comes back, Israel, regathered. So yeah, do we know who they are? Probably not. Because they were scattered into the nations, they lost their identity per Romans 11. They don't know who they are. And if they claim they know who they are, show me the documents that trace you back 2,700 years or 2,000 whatever years. I guarantee you don't have them. So, where's it at? Romans 11. See? So Romans 11:25. Paul tells you, for I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceits. A lot of that going on. Be wise in your own conceits. That blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. So at the fullness of the Gentiles, this blindness is lifted. Lifted. You see a veil is over their eyes. Just like Paul talks about. People think Paul's not important. Bull. 2 Corinthians 3:14, but their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament. Why can't people understand it? Which veil is done away in Messiah. So when he brought me to the Sabbath and stopping Christmas and Easter in 2020 and 2021, I started to understand the Old Testament. Messiah is the law. Therefore, you're supposed to be keeping it. So their minds are blinded. They can't see it. Just like I couldn't see it before 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. Same veil. So blindness, and he's waking Israel up. Doesn't mean I'm Israel, but possibly. I don't know. The veil is being taken away. The blindness is being taken away. And the regathering comes after. Fullness of the Gentiles. And he says, let's say here. Let's go back. And what's he say after the blindness happened to Israel? And so all Israel shall be saved. There shall come out of Zion the deliverer. Jerusalem shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them when I take away their sins. Justify many. We read that earlier. He shall take away their sins. When I shall, that's future tense, shall take away their sins. Yeah, he's in heaven making propitiation right now, but when he comes back, he transforms us and we're perfect. He takes away all of it. No more sin and suffering. But as touching the election, they are beloved for the Father's sakes. It's for his sake. It ain't for us. Like, it is for us, but it's his will. Whoever the elect is, that's because he chose them in the beginning. He made them, brought them at this time. That's who they are, period. So, for a moment shall I have forsaken you, but I will gather you with great mercies. In overflowing wrath I hid my face from you for a moment. So 2,000 years is just a moment. But with everlasting kindness, and it hid my face. See, Israel was partially blind. But with everlasting loving kindness I will have mercy on you, says Yahuwah your Redeemer. Take away his sins. For this is like the waters of Noah to me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah will no more go over the earth, so I have sworn that I will not be angry with you anymore, nor rebuke you. So he swore it, he will do it. He said it, it will come to pass. For the mountains may depart and the hills be removed, but my loving kindness will not depart from you, and my covenant of peace, his law, his lawful wedding covenant. He's the bride and the bridegroom. There is a covenant in marriage. Messiah said he's the bride, right? The bride out of her closet. He's the bridegroom, excuse me. The bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet, Joel 2. Revelation 21:2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Yep, Jeremiah 16. I'm pretty sure this came to pass. He took the voice of the bridegroom out. Blindness for Israel, the age of darkness. He removed it. He tells us when we pray to enter our closet. Bride's in the closet. John 3:29. He that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, which standeth and heareth him, rejoiceth greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This is my joy, therefore is fulfilled. So come hither, Revelation 21:9. I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. Who's the Lamb? The Messiah. Who's the bride? Israel, and those grafted into Israel. Now that's interesting. Voice of bridegroom shall no more be heard. Revelation 18. That ties into Jeremiah 16 there. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Let him that heareth say, come, and let him that is athirst come. Taketh the water of life. Yep. His covenant of peace will not be removed. It says, Malachi 3:6, for I am Yahuwah, I change not, therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Not removed. He made a covenant with Abraham. He's not a liar. It says, Yahuwah who has mercy on you, you afflicted, tossed with storms and not comforted. That's interesting. They had storms in the New Testament. Behold, I will set your stones in beautiful colors and lay your foundations with sapphires. Second Peter 3:13, nevertheless we, according to his promise, look for the new heavens and the new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. Oh, look, it's going to be righteous. So why would he come and do away with it and then bring righteousness back? Makes no sense. Stone. Temple of God. Yep, that's where the high priest is in the heavens, in the temple of God. Not making animal sacrifices, kingdom in context. There's never animals in heaven. They're flesh and blood made on the earth. He made the sacrifice and he ascended to the heavenly temple. His blood. People come up with some goofy stuff, man. You got, what, 130,000 people listening to that garbage? That's what bugs me. Like, and then they'll say, oh, he comes back on horses. There's horses in heaven. Dude, Elijah went on chariots. Enoch was taken away. Heavenly chariots, like spiritual beings, not physical flesh and blood. You know, it's not the same. Sorry. Go back to it. Tossed with storms, not comforted. Set your stones of New Jerusalem. It's in there. Where's it at? Y'all know where it's at? Came from the Netherlands. As far as I know, that's Zebulun. It could be. It could be. Trust y'all. I'd have to see documented records going back, documented for over 2,000 years to prove to me that was Zebulun. That's what I would have to see. They'll say Dan and the Danube River and the city of Dan was named after Dan. Where's your proof at? Where's your proof? Documents written that when Israel, I want proof. That's how I look at it. I might have to look this up this way. Stones, Jerusalem. Sorry, I started rambling. It's the same chapter. Okay, here we go. And the wall of that city had 12 foundations, in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Revelation 21:14. You afflicted, tossed with storms. Exactly what happened to the apostles. Set your stones in beautiful colors. Lay your foundations with sapphire. So, going into Revelation a lot today. So he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and the gates 12 messengers, malachim, or holy ones, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, on the west 3 gates, and the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And if you haven't read the Temple Scroll from the Dead Sea Scrolls, I highly recommend it. It's amazing. And it seems like a temple scroll, like temple document that the priest would have had access to. The building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth a sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th a chrysoprasus, the 11th a jacinth, the 12th an amethyst, and the 12 gates were the 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for Yahuwah Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And that makes no sense right there, because he says, that the temple, he says there's a temple. Where's it at? Sometimes you get more questions than you have answers. So it says no temple therein, but where's that at? Well, that's the stones. See? So one verse says no temple, right? Revelation 11:19, and the temple of God was open in heaven. There is a temple. It says in Hebrews, he's a high priest in the temple of God in the heavens. There was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. And there were lightnings, voices, thunderings, and earthquake, and great hail. There is a temple in heaven. So that verse kind of like, what? Okay. I'll make your pinnacles of rubies, and your gates of sparkling jewels, and all your walls of precious stones. All your children will be taught by Yahuwah. So what's that? Isaiah 2? Malachi 4? I think. Yep. So many people shall go and say, He will teach us our ways. Out of Zion shall go forth the law. Malachi. Won't that be amazing? Oh my goodness. Absolutely amazing. All this garbage to be gone. Malachi 4. Or is it? I can't remember. It's Micah or Malachi? I bet you it's Micah. I always get them mixed up. Micah. So he will come out of his place and come down, tread upon the high places of the earth, Mount Zion, mountains, valley cleft, wax before fire. That's his return. Micah chapter 1. It's all over the book. All over the place when he returns. Second coming, second Exodus, regathering of Israel, nations judged, kick and tail. Micah chapter 4. Here we go. Micah 4. Nations shall come, for out of Zion the law shall go forth out of Zion, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. Same thing. And also this is another, he shall judge among many people, rebuke strong nations afar, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Has that happened? No. There's still war, still swords, spears, guns, blah, blah, blah. All your children will be taught by Yahuwah, and your children's peace will be great. In righteousness you will be established. You will be far from oppression, for you will not be afraid, and far from terror, for it shall not come near you. Psalm 91. 1,000 fall at your side, it shall not come near you. Oh, Psalm 96 through 101, second Exodus. It's all over the place. Ezekiel 30, Ezekiel second half of Ezekiel 20, Ezekiel 36, 37, 38, 39. Psalm 91. Yep. So 1,000 shall fall at thy side, 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes thou shalt behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made Yahuwah, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his Malachim, holy ones, charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. And Satan used this against the Messiah, true. But this is end times context too. So with long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. I will be with him in trouble, tribulation, trouble, great tribulation. I will deliver him and honor him. Because he has set his love upon thee, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. It says, I think it's Isaiah, it said they'll be like a beacon on a mountain. When you call on his name, because you have known his name. Behold, they may gather together, but not by me. Whoever gathers together against you will fall because of you. Behold, I have created the blacksmith. Whoever gathers against you will fall because of you. Behold, I have created the blacksmith who fans the coals into flame and forges a weapon for his work, and I have created the destroyer to destroy. Abaddon, destroyer. He created all things, right? Even that stuff. No weapon that is formed against you will prevail. This is the heritage of Yahuwah's servants, and their righteousness is of me, says Yahuwah. So it's of him. It's not of us. That's why Paul talks about not for our righteousness, for his righteousness. His ways are righteousness, our ways are garbage. You do his righteousness from him, for his glory, for his sake. So here, right here, that's not in the manuscript. 17. They have 54. I'm not normally very outspoken. I don't know what's going on with me today. So 55. Isaiah 55. Hey, come everyone who thirsts to the waters. What waters? Why did Messiah say, come to me, you who thirst? Was he going to give him a cup of water? Deuteronomy 32:2. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as a small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of Yahuwah, ascribe you greatness unto our Elohim. He is the rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. His doctrine, right? Deuteronomy 32, he said this was going to happen. What happens when the blindness is taken away from Israel? my doctrine shall drop as rain. End times context, excuse me. So, and you see in Psalm 91, the wings of an eagle. Also here, he beareth them. So Yahuwah alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. And you'll see here, in the first part, my doctrine shall drop as the rain. I'll whet my glittering sword, my hand take hold on judgment. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, Israel. He will avenge the blood of his servants and render vengeance to his adversaries and be merciful unto his land and to his people. He's talking about what's going to come to pass. Seems to me anyways. Deuteronomy. Let's see, go back. The doctrine part. It all ties in well. Proverbs 4:2, for I give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law. So his law is going to rain down, right? Also, what did the Messiah say? John 7:16, Yahushua answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. So what's his doctrine? Proverbs 4:2, his law. Come, he who has no money, buy and eat. Wine and milk without money and without price. Wine and milk. Good doctrine, bad doctrine. The milk of the word. Why do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which doesn't satisfy? Listen diligently to me, and eat that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in richness. Turn your ear and come to me. So listen, hear, and your soul may live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the peoples, a leader and commander to the peoples. Behold, you shall call a nation that you don't know, and a nation that you didn't know you shall run to you, because of Yahuwah your Elohim, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he has glorified you. His light shines on us, right? When he glorifies at the end, seek Yahuwah while he may be found, call on him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to Yahuwah, and he will have mercy on him. So return, and he will have mercy. Don't return, and he will not have mercy. And to our Elohim, for he will freely pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, and your ways are not my ways, says Yahuwah. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain comes down and the snow from the sky, and doesn't return there, but waters the earth, and makes it grow and bud, and gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so is my word that goes out of my mouth. It will not return to me void. What's his word? His commandments, his instructions. But it will accomplish that which I please, his prophecies, his promises. It will prosper in the thing that I sent it to do. For you shall go as his son. List goes on and on. For you shall go out with joy and be led out with peace. Go out of where? The nations. The mountains and hills will break out before you into singing, and all the trees of the fields will clap their hands. Trees as people. Instead of the thorn, the cypress tree will come up. Instead of the briar, the myrtle tree will come up. And it will make a sign for Yahuwah, for an everlasting name that will not be cut off. Everlasting name that will not be cut off. That sounds like, what's Isaiah 56 promise? 13. So this word implicit in the Masoretic text is explicit in the scroll. So a correction. I think sometimes as knowledge was taken away, they didn't know what to do with the text. So 13. Yep. Isaiah 56. No, it's 58. Yeah. All right. So Isaiah 56, we'll run through this one here. For Yahuwah says, maintain justice and do what is right. Righteousness. Are we supposed to do what's right? Church says we don't have to do anything. Well, I mean, you're either doing right or you're doing wrong. You got to do something. You're not going to, what you going to do is sit here all day and not do anything? We're not doing nothing. Saved by grace, we don't do anything. I don't go to work. I don't do this. Sorry. For my salvation is near, and my righteousness will soon be revealed. Blessed is the man who does this, and the son of man who holds it fast, who keeps the Sabbath without profaning it. Blessed. He didn't change this. And keeps his hands from doing evil, so we better check and make sure what's profaning the Sabbath and what's not. I hear a lot of believers that, they know we're supposed to keep the commandments, but you're being legalistic, You're going by the letter or blah, blah, blah. You have to have a letter so you know what to do. And you're not supposed to profane it. So you better know what's profaning the Sabbath and what's not profaning the Sabbath. Keeps his hands from doing any evil. Let no foreigner who has joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah will surely separate me from his people. So the foreigner can be grafted in. Paul says there's no Jew or Gentile when you're in Christ, right? Plain and simple. Also to the Gentile. It says, and some of those places it probably should say Israelite and Gentile. That's the only difference between Gentiles were the nations, Israel was his people. Jew, Gentile, where's it at? All right, Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek, or Israelite or Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For you are all one in Messiah Yahushua. So Romans 11, Ephesians 2. If you're grafted in, you are Israel. You're not Jew or Gentile. Grafted into the covenants of promise. What promise? His law, his covenant, marriage covenant. Let me go over there right quick too. Romans 11. So the natural branches and the wild olive tree. Wild olive tree is the Gentiles. Natural branches boast not against the branches, Israel, right? Because of unbelief they were broken off. Thou standest by faith, be not high-minded, but fear. What fear? Fear of Yah, his commandments. Listen to him. For if God spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he not spare you. Then he starts talking about Israel. Don't be wise in your own conceits. Right? Same thing. Maybe it's Ephesians 2 right quick. All right. So that in time, that at that time you were without Christ, being aliens to the commonwealth of Israel, so strangers to the commonwealth of Israel, when you were without Christ, strangers to the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. So you're a believer now. You're part of the commonwealth of Israel, part of the covenants of promise, covenants, law, having hope, and with God. So if you say the law's done away with, Israel don't matter, you're without Christ. That's what he's telling you. And you don't have hope and you're without God. It all goes together. God, Christ, the law, Israel. See, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. Which one? So when he was to sacrifice for sin, do we have to continue sacrificing bull and goats? No, we don't. So he does away with the priestly ordinances. It tells you that in Hebrews. And also for him to die, because he was in Exodus when they sprinkled the blood. That was the marriage covenant. They broke it. He had to die so Israel could come back and be remarried. Now, therefore, you are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints in the household of God. So you're not strangers and foreigners. Like in the Old Testament, when the stranger and foreigner join, then there's one law. Same thing. You are grafted in. Numbers 15:29. You shall have one law for him that sinneth. Oh, wrong one. Okay, so, well, maybe that's not the wrong one. One law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them. And for the stranger. Both for the stranger and for him that was born in the land. One law. Stranger sojourns with you. One law to him that is homeborn and unto the stranger. One law for the stranger as well as for your own country. Same thing. You will surely separate me from his people. Do not let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. That's what Paul's talking about in Romans 11. For Yahuwah says to the eunuchs who keep my Sabbaths and choose the things that please me and hold fast to my covenant, I will give them in my house within my walls a memorial and a name better than of sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name. We saw that in the last chapter, that will not be cut off. So they get the grafted in people. If they keep his Sabbaths and keep his covenant, he'll give them a better name than sons and daughters. Within his house and his walls, New Jerusalem. Also the foreigners who join themselves to Yahuwah to be his servants and to praise Yahuwah's name. Everyone who keeps the Sabbath from profaning it and holds fast my covenant. I will bring these to my holy mountain, New Jerusalem. Make them joyful in my house of prayer. My house shall be a house of prayer for all people. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices they offer up will be accepted on my altar. He's got an altar. For my house will be called. And this is when he returns. Okay? We're going to do sacrifices on his altar, just like the old days. For my house will be called a house of prayer for all peoples, and the nations will be allowed to do it, just like they were before. Yahuwah, who gathers the outcasts of Israel, I will yet gather others to him in addition to his own who are gathered. All you animals of the field come to devour, and all you animals in the forest, that's people. Read the book of Enoch. Animals as people. His watchmen are blind. They are all without knowledge. Oh, yeah. A lot of people say, what's your knowledge going to do? Knowledge puffs up. They'll misquote Paul. Knowledge puffs up, blah, 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 blah. He's rebuking people here for not having knowledge. What knowledge? His knowledge. Not man knowledge. His knowledge. They are all mute dogs. They can't bark, dreaming, lying down, loving to slumber. Yes, the dogs are greedy. The wise virgins were sleeping. They can never have enough. They are shepherds who can't understand. They have all turned to their own way, each one for his gain. From every quarter, each one for his gain. Come say they, we will get wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow will be as today, great beyond measure. 12. House of prayer for all. My house will be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Hasn't happened yet. According to his own will. So 57. All right, I'm going to stop there, even though it rolls right on into it. We're still talking about the return. So, all right, praise Yah. I hope that was helpful and a blessing to somebody. And His will be done. If it's meant for somebody to hear it and it helps you, praise God. Praise Yahuwah. If it don't, then so be it. So, it's good. Thank y'all for coming out. And, yep. Have a happy Sabbath. Those keeping Sabbath. If you're not keeping Sabbath, test it and pray about it. Pray about the scriptures I shared. If something doesn't fit, pray, study, check it out. If I got anything wrong, apologies. If I got anything right, all glory to our Father in heaven. So, yeah. Be blessed. Hope to see y'all next time.